If you've been singing with straws and you're trying to work your way down to thinner and thinner straws, you're treating it like adding weight at the gym, you need to hear this. More resistance is not the goal. If the straw feels like a lot of work, it's not making your voice stronger. It's teaching your voice to do the opposite of what the exercise is designed for. Here's what the research actually says and what to do instead. First, let's make sure you understand why straws work. Singing through a straw is called an SOVT exercise, semi-occluded vocal tract. You're narrowing the opening that the air flows through, which creates back pressure against your vocal folds. And this back pressure does two things. It helps the folds come together more efficiently without needing to push hard from underneath. And it also rebalances the pressure above and below the vocal folds, which takes strain and stress off of the system. These are some of the most researched exercises in voice science. And the problem is not the straw. The problem is this assumption that if some resistance is good, well then, more must be better. And here's something singers over 50 need to know about straws. The straws are doing a different job in an aging voice than in a young one. After 50, the muscles inside your vocal folds, they begin to thin. The tissue stiffens, and most voices develop a small gap where the vocal folds don't close fully. That's why you hear more air in the sound. There's more breathiness. There's less power and projection. In a young, healthy voice, the straw is really fine-tuning an already functional system. The vocal folds close fine on their own, and the back pressure helps make them more efficient. In the older voice, the back pressure is doing something more important. It's helping the vocal folds close a gap that they often can't fully close on their own. It's assisting from above what the weak muscle can't do from below. And research backs this up. There was a 2023 study that tested straw phonation specifically on adults over 60 with vocal fold atrophy. And after just 4 weeks, the straw group showed less of a gap at the vocal folds. There was less breathiness and there was improved vocal quality compared to the control group that didn't use straws. That's powerful, but it also means the stakes of getting the resistance wrong are high for older singers. Too little back pressure doesn't really help with the gap, and too much overwhelms these weakened muscles and can force the wrong muscles to take over. The window is narrower, and just pushing towards more resistance can move us further from the optimal goal. And here's where this thinking about it like working out in a gym, this really breaks down. In the gym, progressive overload works. You add weight, the muscle adapts, you add more. Singers, if you take that logic and apply it to the straw, start with a wide one, work it down to a thinner one, feel the burn, get stronger. Well, your vocal folds are not your biceps. They don't get stronger from pushing against more resistance. You want them to get more efficient. And they do this by finding the right resistance. And that right amount is different for every voice. Straw resistance goes up rapidly as you shrink the diameter. If you cut the diameter of a straw in half, you're not getting twice the resistance. You get 16 times more resistance. That's not a small step up. And when they measured what amount of resistance felt optimal across professional singers, the variation was huge. One singer's ideal was barely restrictive. Another needed serious narrowing. Same exercise, same goal, wildly different targets. Now, does that mean there's one perfect straw for your voice? No, it's more nuanced than that. A wider straw with less resistance can feel more therapeutic. It reduces collision forces. It helps the system recalibrate gently. A slightly thinner straw with more resistance can help you find intensity and compression for belt without pushing from below. Lower notes generally want less resistance. Higher notes can handle more. So it's not one setting per voice. It also changes throughout the day, whether you're warmed up or not warmed up. It's about the right resistance for the right task at the right moment. That is smart, intentional practice. What it's not is a ladder, building down to thinner straws as the goal, treating each step as progress. That's the working out in the gym model, and that doesn't apply here. You're not getting stronger by adding more resistance. We want to choose a tool that matches what you're working on right now. A 2024 study tested exactly this. They gradually increased the back pressure on singers and watched what happened. Most were comfortable up to about 5 to 10 centimeters of water pressure. That's how they measure this. Above that, performance broke down, and by 15 centimeters of water pressure, the majority couldn't complete the exercise cleanly. And here's what broke down actually means. The singers started recruiting the wrong muscles to push through. They squeezed, they pressed. They did exactly the opposite of what the straw was supposed to help them with. So that feeling of, this is hard, I'm really working, that's not your voice getting a better workout. That's your voice abandoning the coordination these exercises are designed to build. Now you're training effort instead of efficiency. Now, I don't see in the research where they show SOVTs causing injury, but I have heard anecdotal stories from other voice teachers with students getting in trouble with too much resistance. So don't fight the tube and call it practice. Let's do this intelligently. Here's another potential problem. A straw or any device that creates back pressure, that's a passive tool. It's creating the resistance for you. Your vocal folds feel the back pressure and respond to it. That's good. That's what we want in the right dose. But if you over-rely on the device, your voice learns to work with the device. You take the straw away and the coordination doesn't transfer fully to singing. Look, SOVTs are proven to have benefits that carry into your singing, but straw work needs to be part of a larger training program. On its own, it's not a true workout. And for us singers over 50, this matters even more. We don't have the biological forgiveness we had at 30. A passive tool that over relaxes the system can leave the voice underengaged, and underengagement is already the problem we're fighting. We have weak muscles. We start to lose our balance, and passive recovery alone is not the answer. You need active work, exercises where your voice is doing the coordinating and not just leaning on a tool to do it for you. How to use straws correctly. Here's a simple version. 1, start with standard cocktail size straws. I like 2. If your cheeks are really puffing out and you feel like you're fighting it, add another straw. If it feels like you're blowing through a garden hose, take one of the straws away. The right resistance feels present but not straining. When I do it, I feel my cheeks expand. I feel a bit of a bullfrog throat. But if I just use one, now I'm starting to fight it a little bit. Next, match the straw to the task. If you're warming up or resetting after a long day, go wider and gentler. Let it be therapeutic. I love straws in water for this. So I'm going to take this wider voice straw and put it in water. That feels good. And as I go higher, I can put the straw deeper into the water and increase the resistance. The lower notes generally want less resistance than higher ones. Next, we want to sing a phrase with the straw and then without. And notice what carries over. The transfer is the whole point. That's why I love these straws with cups. I get these from voicestraw.com. So if I sing in the cup, so release me, this helps me find the balance I can take into my voice. And finally, don't use the straw as your whole warm-up. It's one of the tools in your toolbox. What I love to do is use it as part of my warm-up and go back and forth from straws to singing through my practice session. It helps as a great reset. Now, there are starting to be more and more products, devices that promise to be a better straw with adjustable resistance, different levels. And the idea seems to stick that you somehow progress through them. And this progression framing is a problem. It reinforces the myth that you're supposed to build up your voice. A lot of these devices, you don't know what the actual back pressure is. You have no way to know what's properly matched to your voice, and you end up just guessing. And a lot of times people guess that more is better, so they overshoot. Look, you don't have to buy any devices. A drinking straw and a cup of water used correctly does everything that the research supports. I like the devices because they are handy for me. And if a device feels comfortable and you use it properly, great. But when it really starts feeling like hard work and like you're finding it, that is not a sign to build up tolerance. That's a sign that the resistance is wrong for you. Stop. And if you're a singer over 50 and you want more insight and exercises for the older voice, you can get a free PDF download of my best-selling book, The Mature Singer's Guidebook. The link is in the description below. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my videos for singers 50 and up. We will talk soon.